Hello all, this is Oslander from Oslandian Zoids and Toys, and today we're going to be working on something a little bit different than one of my reviews on one of the customs I made or something. We're going to actually be repairing the Zoid. So what we have today is an attack cat, or Hellcat. It's got a broken leg, see, no peg, and the rear gun mount is broken. So, today what we're going to do is, no, he won't stand. As long as we have a three-legged cat, they don't walk. What we're going to do today is we're going to repair those pegs. The basic way I plan on doing this is I'm going to drill them out, use some plastic to build new pegs and glue it in place and really make it sturdy, probably with some AB putty if I need to. Then it's going to be painted so it hides. Now this will work for most things if you're going to paint them, because once you paint it, it'll blend right in. But for a display one, make sure you're going to use a plastic that's very close in color to the part you're replacing or repairing, because otherwise it may stand out a lot. So yeah, what I plan on using is for the attack cat is this dark blue, because it's the right size for the peg. I keep all my 99% of my sprue trees after I finish a model. I keep the trees because it comes in handy when I get these broken ones in lots and I want to repair and paint. Until the point that I've actually got this saved up now, which is all different sizes of plastic for different colors. So even if it's one I need to repair to keep on my shelf, I can do it. Always going to have a box like this for repairs. Also, keep the clear stuff, because the clear stuff can come in handy too. I use it for customs like this. When I did this Command Wolf gun right here, these were broken off. Actually, I have one here from it. Pegs were broken off inside. I drilled them out, put the blue pegs in, turned up and sanded the ends of the pegs, and now when it catches light right, you can it kind of lights up a little right there, which is kind of neat, and it makes the gun look nice, because I could have drilled it out and done it like I'm going to do this, but I have so many of these that are standard laying around that are fine. I didn't mind messing with one to come up with a new idea. So basically what you're going to need to do this is, I prefer to use a Dremel for this, with my drill bit in my Dremel, because the peg hole size drill bit fits in a Dremel. You could use a drill. You could also probably use a hand drill if you really, really wanted to do it that way, but it's going to be a really slow and tedious process, so I don't recommend it. I like the Dremel because it gives me easier control, and I'm able to work on it very well. Also, you're going to need your glue to glue it in place. Like I said, if you want, you can use some AB putty. I might put a little on the insides of the AB resin putty to help stiffen it if it needs it. If not, I'll just let it go. The next thing you're going to need is a pair of nippers. Nip the peg off once it's in, and to trim it off the thing. And possibly a pair of pliers to help hold things in place, if you don't mind, if you don't want to get glue on your hands by using. I honestly don't mind glue on my hands, so I might not need the pliers. Also, you're going to need your plastic, you're going to be putting in the peg, and what you're repairing. So, like I said, this one came in a lot, all complete except for this broken peg right here, and this one right here. But all the other parts here, I don't have to have a spare part, I don't have to have a spare body half for this part here. This one's broken off a lot. I did get lucky, and the gun that was with it did not have the peg in the gun, so I don't have to drill the gun out to get the peg out, because that's always hard, because you can't drill the hole too big, otherwise the guns don't fit on anymore. Or you need to fill them in with some stuff to get them to fit again. So, that being said, that's what we need. I got my setup right over here, so we'll switch over and get ready to do the setup. And we'll get started on repairing this attack/Hellcat. Okay?
Okay guys, so what we're about to do is we're going to work on this attack cat, like I said. So the first thing you're going to want to do is, if it is together like this one is, you're going to want to disassemble disassemble it some so you can get to the parts you need to work on. So we got these, this, other leg, and the rest of this is okay, so we're just going to leave it, the other half together, because we really don't need to mess with that. Now, also these parts are fine, so we're going to just move those off the table so they're out of the way. Don't need extra stuff laying around. So the part we need to work on right here is this. Now I did start on my own with a hand drill bit to start kind of marking it, so I had the middle guide. It's not too hard to do, but I mean there was a lot of peg left on, so I wanted to drill it down some. Usually you can get them smooth. There wasn't enough for me to nip it off though. Normally what you'll do is, if there's enough peg left that you have to nip it off, that it won't hold, or just some peg there, nip it off flat, and you should have a marker where it's going to go. Then all you have to really do is just kind of very carefully go down. I use my Dremel on low and just kind of wiggle it through a little bit. And what that'll do is, once it's through, it'll give me a nice clean hole. Now the next thing you gotta do is make your replacement peg. So take a little bit of this bluish gray plastic. I'm gonna nip it right about here on the angle, so it has a little bit of a ledge behind it, so it won't pull back through the hole. I want to cut it extra. I always cut it a little too long on purpose. That way it will give me some extra space. And now, like I said, the hole's a little bit smaller than it's supposed to be, and that helps hold it in tight. See, that's actually a really tight joint, so I don't have to, I don't even really have to glue this one. So, because of how tight this is, which is actually really good. Now, I'm going to flip this over just to take a look at the other leg, so I can see about how long I need to make the peg. And that'll be the other peg for this. So let's just get this off. I hope I don't break this one. Okay, there it is. So I need it about okay. Now what we're going to do is we're just going to trim a little bit off the top. And now we'll see if this new peg is about the right length, which is actually perfect. So there we go. Now mind you, it won't always be that you don't need the glue. I just got lucky because my drill hole is slightly tight, so it fit right in. But this is I very rarely have them work out so nicely that I don't have to put the glue into the hole to make it work. So that's a very rare occurrence, and it's a really lucky one, honestly. So don't assume that's going to happen for you. I'm actually really happy that happened. Now let's just show you that new joint works, and there you go. Right on. Cap fits right on too, and it's already looking great and back together, which is honestly exactly what we were looking for. Now, yeah, there's a problem. The caps do not hold on to the new peg very well, so the cap after painting probably will need to have a little bit of glue put into it to help tighten it, or a little bit it probably will need a little bit of glue to help hold it together in the end, which it's a problem, but it's also part of doing the repair. They don't make a perfect replacement peg. The best you can do is kind of guesstimate how big the peg is and try and get something else to fit that's going to fit the same, unless you like handcraft one. But as long as it's pretty close, you should be good. And let's just see if it'll actually walk at all. And the motor seems a little bit weak, but when I take it off the table, the leg does move with the new joint. So, granted, the cap is falling off, but that just goes to show you that this will work. It will actually repair the Zoid, which is exactly what we wanted. Now this one's a little bit harder. We're going to have to try and drill out the center peg right here, and then replace this. This is going to be a little bit harder to do, and actually I'm going to get a pair of pliers to hold this because I do not want to put my drill bit through my fingers. I've done that once before. It's not a very comforting feeling. So if you notice, I'm using an aluminum plate on top of a filing cabinet. Basically, the aluminum plate's just there so I don't actually drill into my filing cabinet. And unfortunately, the pliers are not allowing me to keep enough grip on it. So, and that's another problem. I'm having a little bit of issue getting a good enough grip on it. So what we're going to need to do now is I'm going to have to pull out a different Dremel bit and possibly do a little bit of sanding here, or try and sand this a little bit smoother. So I'm going to take a little grind block I have right here for sharpening stuff and just kind of give it a bit of a sand to try and go. Yeah, that made a lot of difference. Making sure that was smooth on top made a big difference for getting a good starting hole for it. Now this one's, like I said, is a little bit more difficult. I'm having a little bit of problems with it because how small of an area it is. And the plastic hardens when you're drilling, the plastic rehardens so fast that it can actually be a problem if you don't keep. And I just flung it somewhere. So take a break here, and I'm gonna go find that piece, and we'll be right back. Okay, we're back. Sorry about that. I happen to have a little bit of an issue with the camera after I found the piece, and I finished drilling the hole in. Got it partway down in, just so there's enough of a hole that I can see. I can just kind of fit this into it a little bit, then kind of get the peg in there. Now that that's in there, I'm going to trim off a little bit to make a peg. Always trim too much, because you can always go. See how long I trimmed a way longer piece than what we need. Always go longer than what you need, because, well, you can always go back and cut more off. You can't really add back on. I think there's a joke saying somewhere, it's easier to dig a hole than build a pole. So you can't really make the poles bigger. You can always you can always dig a new hole and try another peg. You can always cut the peg shorter, closer to the hole, but you can't really make the peg bigger. Get that glue in there and make sure it's on, and then once it's on, just trim it down to about where you think the gun mount should be. And then you can just put the gun on it and just make sure it fits on, which it does. And then we'll just slide it back, slide this rear piece back onto the back of the cat. Put the gun on, and there we go. We took a broken attack cat and made him work again. So he's nice and fixed up now, has his pegs in, and for what my purposes, he's ready for paint. This one will actually be getting, he's gonna be getting a metal cast primer coat on everything, and then his red's gonna be painted chromed red, and the rest, and his grays will be painted chrome silver. His caps will probably be painted stainless steel in color, so in the end he's gonna have a real nice metallic paint job. But that's basically all there is to repairing an attack cat. So yeah, that's about it. So thank you guys.
Hey guys, just one final thing. If you guys liked the repair video we just did, I plan on doing a lot more stuff like this, including customizations, reviews on Zoids in general, which, if no one's ever seen my earlier videos about my collection, it's kind of hard to see. There's 3 shelves and they're almost all full. But basically going to be going over a lot of that stuff, some older ones I did, the inspirations, the way I do things. We can go over all that kind of stuff in the future. Now I have the new room done, and I have my workshop with a workbench for painting and all kinds of other fun stuff. I can do a lot more stuff now. I got some new equipment, like some turntables to put stuff on to rotate for displays and everything. I did an experiment video with it. So I got all kinds of new stuff to play around with, and some new bits and Dremel stuff and all kinds of cool stuff. We got boxes of parts down here to play with. That's just some of my Zoid components and spare Zoids and other things. Got tons of ideas, so keep an eye out. I'm going to be posting lots more videos in the future, so like, subscribe, comment, you know, the drill. I'm not a famous YouTuber, but whatever. I'll throw it out there. But yeah, try and get some more stuff put out very soon. Thank you guys, and have a nice day.